Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. She has traveled to Taiwan in the past. She was there in the summer. Obviously, simmering tensions between Taiwan and China, and always a bold move for a U.S. lawmaker to travel to Taiwan. China doesn't like to see that, Senator, as we know. Your thoughts on what we've watched here at this briefing and John Kirby's explanations about our stature, our posture right now as these two meet?
And John Kirby is wrong on what they perceive. And perception is reality. And Martha, when they look at Joe Biden, they see someone who is weak, who I think they believe is compromised, and he is not going after them. He doesn't go after them on great power competition, on the $1 trillion trade deficit that we had this last year with China. He's not going after them on COVID or fentanyl or TikTok, things that are harming our people. And because Joe Biden will not stand up, the perception by Xi and Putin is that he is weak.
Let's look at this other exchange, because I think this goes to what you're discussing, Senator. How did we get here? You know, how did we get to the point where we have the White House press representative or the White House representative of the National Security Council standing there saying, well, you know, we're going to see what they talk about. We'll see if they decide to send lethal aid. And it does feel as if we're sort of standing back and watching this dangerous partnership grow and grow. Here's that exchange. Watch this one.
Why did President Biden let this happen?
Peter, these are two countries that have long chafed, as I said to Jeff, long chafed at U.S. leadership around the world and the network of alliances and partnerships that we have. This is not something that these two countries just cooked up since President Biden got elected.
You know, some say, Senator, that our aid to Ukraine has driven these two players closer together. Where are you on that?
I think you have to go back to Afghanistan to see when they started driving themselves closer together. But even several years ago, Martha, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they were busy creating what I call the new axis of evil and looking for ways to partner up. Now they're doing that. And you are seeing Xi, who is given to the 21st century being the China century. By 2050, he plans to be globally dominant. He has a weak president of the United States in Joe Biden. He isn't being challenged by Antony Blinken. It feels as if our military is standing back. We wouldn't even go get a spy balloon out of the air. We let it go all across the country. And Xi is looking at people that should be partnering with us in the Western Hemisphere, like Brazil, like Honduras, like Chile. And he's saying, now is my time to advance. The Horn of Africa, there at Djibouti, where we have a military post. And now you have China very aggressively going into that area, expanding not only great power competition and a deepwater naval base, but also their Belt and Road Initiative, looking at what they're going to do with rails and roads and technology, and saying to people, team up with us. We will carry the note for you. You can be in debt to us. We're not going to press you. We'll give you technology. They're building their pathway to global dominance.
You know, we don't hear a lot of this from the State Department. We don't hear very strong talk. Basically, what we just heard was, well, we're really hoping that we can reschedule Antony Blinken's visit to China. And when the time is right, President Biden will pick up the phone and give a call to President Xi. That's what we got right now in terms of interaction. But what, you know, if you were there, if you were in charge, how would you be speaking about this to the Chinese? I would
pick up that phone and I would call Xi Jinping and I would say, look, you are killing our people with fentanyl. You're supplying that to the cartels. You cut it out. You come clean on COVID, or you see that $1 trillion trade deficit we had with you, that is going to evaporate. And he should be sanctioning members of the Chinese Communist Party that are carrying this out. Martha, they are carrying out a genocide on their own people. Look at what they've done to the Tibetans, the Mongolians. Look at what they've done to the Hong Kong freedom fighters, the bullying they do to Taiwan and the Philippines and the Pacific Island nations. This needs to stop, and this President of the United States will not make that call. Now, he ought not to be sending anybody over to China. Blinken shouldn't be trying to reschedule his trip. This is Joe Biden's responsibility, and Xi Jinping should have to come and meet with Joe Biden, not have our people going and groveling and trying to establish some kind of accord with the Chinese Communist Party.
So you're saying it has to be handled at the presidential level
Right.
and not below. Interesting. Senator, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Always good to see you. Senator Marsha Blackburn.